All right, guys, welcome back to the channel A10 MMA. And today, guys, we are discussing a very serious sort of topic, very touchy subject. You know, this is what we do here. This is what we do on the A10 MMA channel. We discuss very serious sort of topics in the MMA scene and in the sporting scene. Or what have you, or what have you. But yeah, Kamaru Usman is not a real African. Dricus du Plessis is the real African. A lot of people are trying to claim the reverse. A lot of people are trying to say, okay, Dricus is European. Kamaru Usman is the real African. Israel Adesanya is the real African. Dricus du Plessis is not a real African because he's a white man. He's unmelanated. Right. But my whole argument is that if the reverse happened, right, let's just look at Europe. Right? If somebody that looks like Kamaru Usman goes to Europe, he is treated as 150% European, right? Europeans are supposed to accept Kamaru Usman as 150% European, even though he's named Kamaru Usman, even though he's super melanated, 150% African DNA. People like us Europeans are supposed to claim or are supposed to accept that, okay, Kamaru Usman is obviously, he's obviously an Englishman. He's obviously an Englishman because he's moved here and he has the fucking English passport. Like that's what we're supposed to say, right? We see that on the England team, the France team in the World Cup. Mbappe and Bukayo Saka are supposedly as European as somebody like Harry Kane or any of these sort of guys, right? And Kamaru Usman, going back to Kamaru Usman, he left Nigeria when he was about 6 or 7 years old. He was a little baby boy when he left Nigeria. He spent about 30 plus years in America, living in America, breathing American air. In America, he's by that standard, if Bukayo Saka is, an Englishman, Kamaru Usman is an American. He can't claim Nigerian when he lives in America. He has an American child with an American woman. He's lived in America for over 30 years. He cannot then say, okay, I am Nigerian. I am Nigerian forever. He cannot say that. If you spend 40 years in America, oh my God, I'm still Nigerian. You can't then say that, right? Dricus, on the other hand, he has lived in South Africa his entire life. Probably, generations of du Plessises have lived in South Africa. He is 100%, by that standard, he is 100% South African. Kamaru Usman is not Nigerian because he hasn't been there. He hasn't lived there. He has no sort of recent ties to Nigeria. He is not Nigerian anymore. He is American. If you have an American house and you live in your American house for 30 years, you cannot then say, okay, I'm Nigerian, I'm Turkish. You cannot then say that. If Bukayo Saka, comes in on his boat, and he's like, oh my God, this guy is on the English team. He's an Englishman. He's as English as Harry Kane. He is as English as all these guys. If that's the case, right? And this is the hypocrisy. Because even like the white people that will claim Bukayo Saka, even the white people that will claim Bukayo Saka, they genuinely believe that Bukayo Saka is 100% English, and they genuinely believe that Dricus du Plessis is still European, even though he's lived in South Africa his entire life. He will live there for forever. And this is what really grinds my gears with the modern world, right? White people or European ethnicity people are the only people that don't get this like, oh, you're you can never be anything besides European. They're the only ones that get that, right? If I was to say Kamaru Usman can never be American, he is African, right? Or if, okay, let's just say Israel Adesanya can never be a New Zealander because he's Nigerian. If I was to say that, people would say crazy things. People would call me prejudiced. People would call me a racist. All these things, right? But if you say the same thing in the reverse to Dricus du Plessis, Dricus, you're always going to be Dutch. You can never be anything besides Dutch. You can never be South African. People are allowed to say that with their full chest. The melanated population and, the woke crowd amongst the unmelanated people are all allowed to say that Dricus du Plessis will forever be a European guy because he's white, right? So that's just the hypocrisy there. That is just the hypocrisy there. Dricus du Plessis is the real African by modern standards. Kamaru Usman is not African by modern standards. Israel Adesanya is not, Nigerian by modern standards. If you leave a country when you're 5 years old, you're supposed to, oh my God, he moved to, oh my God, this guy Bukayo Saka moved to England when he was 5 years old. He's fully English if he wants to be. If we're supposed to say that, then it cannot just go one way. Dricus du Plessis is African. He's 100% African. Kamaru Usman is not. Israel Adesanya is not. And I will stand on that for the rest of my days. I do not care. But yeah, just a little bit of a rant today. This has really been grinding my gears. I just wanted to get this off my chest. It should be a good fight. I like both fighters, but Dricus du Plessis is the only real African in this fight. It's America versus South Africa by modern standards. It's not anything else. It's not Nigeria versus the Netherlands. It is South Africa versus America. That's it.